Today I'm going to be informing you about something called von Willebrand's disease. So imagine you and your friend went out to eat one day, just a regular day, got your nails done, just having a little girl's day before you go to the beach the following day. And as you're walking, your friend points out that your legs are covered in bruises. I mean, covered so bad that it looks like you got pushed down several flights of stairs. Legs are completely black, these huge bruises that you'd think you'd know where they come from. That being that bad, you've got to know that they're there, right? No, that wasn't the case. So that was me 2 years ago, and I was freaking out because there's these crazy, scary bruises all over my body, and I have no clue where they're from because, again, them being that bad, you'd think you'd know, right? I did not. So following our beach trip, I immediately went to the doctor to check this out because, along with the bruises, the main leg that was covered in bruises had been hurting me that day that it was discovered, but then just quit the next day. But it did hurt pretty bad, like it felt like I pulled something or I fell, again, something you'd think I'd remember. Go to the doctor, and all the doctors are very concerned, especially due to the random disappearing pain that I had as well, and the fact that the bruises looked awful. They looked really bad. So because of that, the doctors ordered several tests while I was there. Everything came back normal because in the beginning, their main concern was my platelets was off, meaning I could have some form of leukemia. That was their main concern, which obviously for me was extremely scary to be told that I may have leukemia, because that's not something that's normally taken lightly. So then we go through all of my family history, if there's anything similar. No one in my family has had anything like that. My grandma did have stage 4 ovarian cancer. She beat it. That wasn't the case. That's the only cancer that's ever been in my family, so we didn't really know what was going on. So then we went to, are there any blood conditions in my family? My mom and me both are very anemic. We have low iron, we have low B12, we already knew that. And then my great uncle had too thick of blood, but nothing really made sense. So then I spent the next 3 months-ish going back and forth to different hematology places, getting x-rays, and then I even got referred to neurology. I was getting my blood drawn on a daily basis. I had to miss a bunch of work, a bunch of school, because I was getting so much blood taken because they genuinely could not figure out what was wrong with me. This went on for about 6 months, trying to just diagnose me, and you gotta think that's very scary to live 6 months not knowing what was wrong with you, what the next months, years to come could be in store for me. I had no idea what was going on and what would happen next. And it was very scary not to have any answers. I got very frustrated, very upset, very depressed, just wanting to know what was going on and what I needed to do next. Because again, the main thing I had been told was leukemia. Even though all the scans came back negative, they came back good. Again, that was why they were so confused as to what could be going on, because my test came back normal or, standard for somebody with anemia and things of that sort. So eventually, they finally came up with a diagnosis, and that diagnosis was von Willebrand's. Von Willebrand's is semi-common. It affects 1 in every 100 people. So it's semi-common, but semi-rare at the same time. You don't hear very many people having it, but that's also because it goes undiagnosed and just chalked up to anemia. Von Willebrand's is derived from a factor that everyone is supposed to have in their body called von Willebrand's factor that has to do with your platelets and your blood clotting. It's supposed to help you clot blood, and when you don't have it or don't have enough, your blood does not clot how it should. But mine was a very rare form, meaning I did not get it from my parents how it normally is passed down. I got it from a different medical condition that it stems from, and that was the rare part in my case and why we couldn't connect it to anything, and that's why they also didn't test me for it, because no one in my family had it, and that's mainly how you get it. Von Willebrand's is basically a more extreme form of anemia makes me have even lower iron than I did before, even lower B12 than I did before, makes me feel a little worse than I did before, things of that sort. It's not life-threatening, although it could be, because it also means that if I were to be in a car accident or something like that, I could bleed out because my blood doesn't clot again, so the blood doesn't really stop flowing. And that's why when I was little, I also had really bad nosebleeds that would just come on out of nowhere with no explanation, and they would just take forever to stop. You also get random bruising, and when you bruise, they lump up, so they're thick bruises that like you can feel, you know, your leg, it'll come out a little bit, you can feel the bruise, it's just like a lump, a knot. So yeah, you just bleed more than you should, bruise more than you should, it's uncontrollable, there is no treatment besides, you know, just trying to get my iron up and things of that sort, but it doesn't really stop it, it doesn't take it away, there is no way to take it away. But again, it's not life-threatening, I'm still living my life how I would if I didn't have it. I'm just a little more careful with driving and things of that sort, and people have to be told if I were in an accident, you know, come to me, I could be bleeding out, you just don't know, because a regular accident for someone else that wouldn't cause them to bleed out, I could. But again, it was a very big learning experience for me because this isn't something I even knew existed. I'm sure most of you didn't either. So I can tell you now, if you have nosebleeds like I did, if you bruise crazy randomly and they may be thick and you kind of feel groggy, sleepy, tired all the time, I would maybe go get checked out because maybe you're anemic and you didn't know, or maybe you have something similar to this and you don't know. It's better to catch it than go through what I did and have that scary process of just not knowing. So I hope you learned something. But yeah, that's von Willebrand's disease. Thanks.